Playboy's growing up story. Summary. Playboy was a corgi born on the streets of Detroit by a nameless mother corgi on the 26th of March 2005. His parents were happy to have a son. But the downside is, Playboy was born with epilepsy and allergies to peanuts and more dog stuff. They named him Playboy because he liked to play. Playboy and his parents were stray dogs who stayed in the hood because it was their home. They were stray street dogs. His parents didn't have owners at all and they had to kill animals and steal food from humans to feed their son Playboy. They lived beside a brick building in the hood near convenience stores. It was very cold because they were in the northern part of America and most of the food they stole froze while they were eating. It was hard for them to live and sleep in this cold city. They heard gunshots every night and grew to be used to violence. They had a hard life in that area. Eventually they found a dog house on the street to live by. At the dog house they still had to steal and search for food being stray dogs. They stayed around the street doing the same thing every day. They couldn't bathe because no humans were there for them, so they just sat and lived at the dog house near the brick building in the middle of the street in front of a gas station. Playboy and his parents got caught in the street because someone called animal control on them, the dog pound game, and got them. The dog pound put them in the back of his truck in a cage and drove all the way down to another hood in Philadelphia, Philly, in 2009 when Playboy turned 4. When Playboy turned 4, his mom and dad taught him how to fight and went hard on him. This caused Playboy to cry, but he got used to it and he finally learned how to fight. They didn't know where they were because they were so used to Detroit. They thought it was safe in Philly, but it wasn't. They still had to experience the violence and the freezing cold because they were still in the north. Playboy's dad was tired of the hardships of being a stray dog in the hood and raising a son, so he ran off. Playboy and his mom had to watch as he ran away from the hood to go find more dogs. He then had more kids with 3 more dogs, and that was when his mom became depressed. The mom one day ran away also but left Playboy so she can start a new family. Playboy was just 4 at the time in 2009 and had to learn how to live on his own. He wasn't afraid of the violence anymore and grew to be stronger. The mom went out and started 2 more families and had another son named Wolf. He was a husky crossed with a corgi. The mother came back to home after months to see if the dad was back, but he wasn't. Playboy was introduced to his brother Wolf and they didn't get along at all. Playboy used to beat up Wolf for fun. His mom didn't care because she didn't like Wolf at all. So then Playboy realized he could fight and went out on the street and started fighting other dogs. He lost sometimes but won most of the time. Him losing caused him to have anger issues and he took it out on others. Playboy's mom left again but took Wolf with her because she wanted to hurt him. Playboy wasn't happy that Wolf was gone. So his mom found an underground dog town to live in while Playboy was out living on his own stuck in Philly. Playboy's mom used to abuse Wolf and steal his resources and keep them all to herself. This went on for a long time until Playboy and Wolf's mom almost killed Wolf on purpose. So Wolf ran away from the dog town and he got caught in the hood in Philly. The dog pound wanted no more dogs there, so they took him to Japan. Wolf quickly learned assassin tactics and learned how to fight while being raised by the assassins. They took Wolf back to Philly and he came back to the dog town in 2011 when Wolf was 3 and Playboy was 6. Wolf came in to kill his mom for what she did to him. He came in and stabbed his mom 48 times and bit a chunk out of her to make it seem like a big animal did it, and left and went back to Japan. Playboy was still street fighting at this time, and one time he almost died by trying to fight the teenage dogs. They were more than stray. They were wild and they tried to maul him to death, but while they were in the act, animal control came and shot them to put them down. The animal control officer saw Playboy injured and took him to the hospital. They later dropped him off in the dog pound to stay in. He tried many times to escape it, but they always caught him. He started to fight the dogs there due to his anger issues. They kept Playboy in longer for that. Playboy just couldn't stop fighting the dogs, so they kept him in until 2014 when he was 9. They finally let him out and put him in with an owner in the hood of Philly. He stayed there for 2 years until 2016 when he turned 11. His owner fed him good and took great care of him. His owner also took him places, and when he took him to a zoo, Playboy saw a panda and immediately became interested in pandas. His owner noticed and bought him a panda hoodie to wear, but the owner kept feeding him the same food and milk because he was broke. This caused Playboy to run away back on the streets of Philly. At age 11 he went to school because he was forced to by animal control. He had good food and friends, but his friends are what got him to do bad things. Playboy started stealing candy from stores, egging houses, playing ding dong ditch and more, but he still hung out with those same friends. These friends also got him into video games. But then Playboy got expelled from school because he got into 140 fights the whole school year and lost 14 of them. Soon he got caught by the dog pound and they kept him in for another 2 years. Once again he fought more dogs there because of his anger issues. Playboy always put his panda hood on his head before fighting. He finally got out of the dog pound when he was 13 in 2019. He was back in the same hood in Philly and was doing the same stuff. The dog pound brought him to a store called 5 and Below to get adopted. He got adopted and also saw his cousin being adopted. He went home, watched a movie, ate pizza and had a good night. His routine was whenever there was a new pet in the house, he beats them up to see if they're tough. He also went to a place called Toyland and went there, made some new friends, music, and that was his story of growing up. The end.